Hi, my name is Jay Ipson. I'm a co-founder of the Virginia Holocaust Museum and also its executive director. We're right now inside the Kovna ghetto, where as a 6-year-old child I was incarcerated in here until my father cut the barbed wires and we escaped when I was 8 and a half. We have just received, or I've just received, an award from the Austrian government, the first one in the United States. It has been given out for a few years now to European recipients. And that particular award is for my work in Holocaust education and the Austrian students that come here as volunteers. At the same time, while they're here working with me, they also get an education about the atrocities of the Holocaust and about being bad neighbors. This is a picture of me when I was almost 8 years old with my mother in line to be deported for execution. On the spur of the moment, the Germans came in and said, we were looking for 5,000 Jews to take you out of the Kovna ghetto to Riga, Latvia, in order to make more room for other Jews to be brought into the ghetto. They had already killed half of us. Out of 27,000, only half at this point remained, but they weren't satisfied. So they said they're going to make more room and they were going to deport 5,000 more. A Jewish policeman that recognized me, he was a friend of my father's, pulled me out of line and told me to go home. Daddy would be looking for me when he'd come home from work. I pulled my mother out of line, and the two of us are the only two that survived out of 5,000. My grandparents, my uncles, and an aunt, my whole mother's family, were deported and executed. A few months ago, I received paperwork from a friend of mine that was the first one to go into Osbaden, Germany, where they found 17 miles of records of people that were executed. 17 million people were, over 20 million people were executed, and my grandparents, uncles, and aunts' paperwork were in those records. In November 1943, in the middle of the night, my father cut the wires. And when the guard wasn't at his post, we snuck in into the street where a farmer was waiting for us with a wagon. And it took us away to the country, thereby saving our lives. We escaped to the country, where my father built a hiding place for us under a potato field in the woods. We lived in there for 6 months in total darkness. 13 of us, 5 women, 4 men, and 4 boys. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Paskowski hat gerettet unser Leben. Wir können mir ihm aufzuhören.
hungry. Perhaps you thought a piece of bread and cheese. Father, when can we leave the hiding place? When the Russian soldiers will liberate us. I just heard on the radio that the Americans have opened the second front.
We had a hand grenade, 3 guns, but no ammunition. We had 6 bullets for the Luger. We had 6 bullets for the Tokarev, which is a Russian similar to our 45 or 9mm. And then we had 22 bullets for the FN 25 automatic. This is my father's watch. It had a glowing dial that kept the mice off of our faces. They would think that was a cat, so they would run around us and not come on our face. The Germans pretty well had things organized, and IBM was one of the helpers that helped them identify the Jews. Since everybody had to be registered, they took with the IBM punch cards and the IBM Hilbert machine and were able to run it through their machine and identify who was a Jew and where they lived. Mark Feder, a publisher of a Richmond Parents magazine and 50 Plus, came to me and talked me into building a museum here in Richmond. I didn't want to do it, but he was a very good friend of mine, and Al Rosenbaum, who was an artist. The two of them came to my office. I was running a auto parts business, and talked to me, and finally I gave in. What you're looking at here is justice. The scale of justice. President Truman insisted that justice should be served, that the perpetrators of the Holocaust should not be machine gunned down, as was the wish of the Russians. So Nuremberg, where it all started, also where it all ended. The Virginia Holocaust Museum is the only museum in the world that has a full functioning courtroom of the Nuremberg trials that took place in 1946 in Nuremberg, Germany. We are now standing inside the Kovner Synagogue. The Kovner had a choral synagogue where the choir was so beautiful that a lot of the cantors from that synagogue ended up singing in the Metropolitan Opera in New York. The reason it was not destroyed is because when the Germans took our belongings, they turned it into a warehouse. In 2005, I went back to the Kovner, Lithuania, and I got the original drawings, architectural drawings, and I took pictures and measured the synagogue, and all of it was built here by Trademark Woodworking, a local firm that does cabinet work, and they built everything here in Richmond, and we assembled it here. We started on Roseneath Road in back of Temple Bethel, and as we evolved, this is Al Rosenbaum. He is one of the founders of the museum, and this is Tashuk. He was the son, the 16-year-old boy, where the farmer let us use their property. He was 16 at the time, and he saved my father's life after a cave-in. Was ist dein Beruf, verfluchter Jude?